Hey guys, so it didn't quite work out the way I wanted, but today I'm going to be starting a new series. Um, it's a little podcast of sorts. I want to just be able to talk about the NHL, review what's going on. So for the first one, I thought it would be appropriate to do round one, and also after I do this video, let me know if you like the series, if I should continue it. So starting off with the first series of the playoffs, we have the Columbus Blue Jackets sweeping the Tampa Bay Lightning. I mean, nobody saw this coming. Well done by Columbus in order to do this. This was just an amazing series for the Blue Jackets. They deserved it. The Lightning played one period of hockey. That was it. The first period of game one, they went up 3-0. Great period by them. But you can't just play one period and expect to win games, and Columbus bounced on that. They won game one after coming back from being down 3-0 and never looked back. Then we have the Boston Bruins knocking out the Toronto Maple Leafs in 7. We all knew that this was going to be the series that happened from the beginning. We always knew that this was going to happen. However, Toronto, yet again, for the third time in recent memory, has lost in 7 to the Bruins. This one, the final score was 5-1 in Game 7. That did not stand for that game. I watched it. Tuukka Rask had an amazing night for the Bruins in net. But this was a very well-fought series. Both teams put in their part, and great job by Boston in order to win this one. Now, this is the one that hurts the most. My Washington Capitals losing to the Carolina Hurricanes in 7. There's not much I can say about this one. Both teams put in a hard effort, and after watching overtime of Game 7 for Washington, they stopped playing. It was like they didn't want to win the cup again. That's all I can say. I mean, they just stopped playing. They had lots of opportunities to win in regulation, but they passed the puck instead of taking the shot. Carolina, to their credit, they didn't go out on those opportunities, and that's the reason that they won the series. A series that I'm very happy to talk about, though, is the New York Islanders sweeping the dreaded Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins, I knew that they weren't going to be that good this season. They just had something about them. It was just a very different team from previous years, and the chemistry wasn't quite working out. The defense was really bad. They had to make a ton of trades to try to get things going, and nothing was working. So the Islanders did a great job of taking advantage of this, even if the series, all the games in it were close. This series was completely one-sided in the final scores. The Avalanche beating the Flames. For those of you guys who saw my predictions video, I actually picked Calgary to win the Stanley Cup, so as you can see, this was definitely an upset. Avalanche, great job in the series. There's not much I can say. It's just like the Flames got outplayed. They played game 1, they got the shutout, they had a great game that night, and then they didn't do anything off of it. They let the Avalanche come back in games. They let them take the 3-1 lead in the series when they had the opportunity to close them out in game 4 and tie it up 2-2 back in Calgary. I mean, Avalanche just did their part. They won their 4 games. Then we have the Golden Knights losing to the Sharks. This was a series that I really didn't see coming. I did not think San Jose would be able to get out of the first round this year. I really thought Vegas was going to beat them. But Vegas really, they just blew it. They had the 3-1 series lead. They lost Game 5. They lost Game 6. And they had a 3-0 lead in Game 7 with 15 minutes left in the third period. Then they took a 5-minute major after taking down Joe Pavelski at a faceoff, and that's what gave the Sharks momentum. They scored 4 goals on the 5-minute major power play. I don't care if it's a 5-minute major. You should not be allowing 4 goals in 5 minutes. And they were able to tie it up and send it into overtime, but the Knights just didn't do anything once they got to overtime. You need to be able to capitalize on your chances, and you can't let the other team get momentum like that. Stars Predators. This was the only wild card series where I actually thought that the wild card was going to beat the division winner. Nashville wasn't the greatest division winner this season, and Dallas was a strong wild card. They had really good defense and enough offense to win close games like 3-2, 2-1. Dallas played a great series. Nashville did not play a great series. Nashville got 2 wins on weird games for the Stars. This series was not close, even if the scores don't show for it. And our final series of the first round was the Winnipeg Jets versus the St. Louis Blues. Blues winning this series 4-2. Jordan Binnington is the reason that the Blues won this series. Jordan Binnington is the reason that the Blues made the playoffs. That call-up from the AHL in January, when the Blues were last in the league, they climbed back up from last all the way to, for a considerable amount of time, first in the Central Division. They dropped down to third on the last day of the season. But they overpowered Winnipeg. They didn't look very good in this series. They seemed like something was missing. Binnington was shutting them down the whole time, and I could really see St. Louis going on a deep playoff run as long as they keep him in net. So anyway, like I said at the beginning of the video, let me know if you like this new series. I personally thought it was a cool idea to do some sort of podcast. Like, subscribe, share the video, and Nisky out.